Good evening to everyone out there in television land. My name is Attorney Melissa Williams, and I work with a volunteer program called the Wiley Resource Center, which is a legal support program. You are watching CAN 21 television, and we are live. We're ready to accept your calls. We're talking specifically about expungement, that's criminal record expungement, sealing, and pardons, as well as HB 5723, which is a House bill, and it says that we need to be able to seal more nonviolent felony offenses on criminal records so that folks can get jobs, they can get housing, they can get government assistance, they can get higher education. So that's what we're going to be talking with you about for the next 12 weeks. Our telephone number, you see it at the bottom of your screen, is 312-738-1060, and we are looking forward to your calls. Don't be scared. Call in. We want to talk to you. We want to answer your questions. We want to hear your comments. I have with me on this evening Mr. Larry Kimbrough. He is my distinguished guest slash co-host. He works with the Stay Focused Network, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about what he does at Stay Focused Network, as well as being a co-sponsor, an organizational co-sponsor, that is, for the House Bill 5723, which is the Illinois Criminal Records Sealing Bill. So let's go ahead and let's start having a little conversation about Mr. Kimbrough and the Stay Focused Network. What do you all do there?
Well, Stay Focused Network is, I like to coin the phrase, a broadband investment company, specifically working with construction-related fields. We do a lot of training for companies, such as breaking ground, where most of the training happens. We do stuff for the Wiley Resource Center, of course. We do stuff with the youth. Basically, everything that we do is to prepare people for jobs and to either establish them with a business or be able to put them back into the workforce.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you work with ex-offenders as well?
We primarily work with ex-offenders, yes.
Okay. And what are some of the things that you train them to do?
Just the basic skills, reading, arithmetic, grammar. When it comes to job readiness, being prepared as far as like punching in, punching out, being on time specific, building resumes, building hope within people so they can prosper. It goes into, when it gets into the construction field, specialty services, teaching people how to do estimates, projections, teaching people how to actually just drill into other materials or whatnot. The whole gambit of construction, basically.
Okay, that's awesome, because what we found through the legal resource program is that when it comes to criminal records expungement and sealing, people are mostly concerned with being able to get back to work. You know, they've served their time, whether it have been jail time or prison time, or whether they've done probation, conditional discharge, something of that nature, and they're ready to move forward with their lives to benefit themselves as well as their families. So we're going to be featuring folks like Mr. Kimbrough on our show, so that way you'll be able to get more information, not only about how you can get your record expunged or sealed or get a pardon, but also about how you can get back on track with your lives. One of the other things that we want to make sure that we mention before we delve into the topic of expungement and sealing is that even if this is not something that applies to you, you know, even if you don't have a criminal background, we all know someone who does. We all have a family member. We all know someone in the community that needs this information. So even if you don't, please do share this information with other folks so that they can get some assistance. And we will be here on Mondays at 7 o'clock. It's a live show. Again, call in. We want to talk to you. You can see the phone number is up on the screen as well. So let me ask you this, Mr. Kimbrough, why did you all decide to support this concept of the Illinois sealing bill?
Well, I think it's important to be able to get people to integrate back into the community. Not only does it change some of the basic laws, but it touches most of the offenses that our community has. And that's very important to me. I have no choice but to support something that's this strong and effective.
Okay. Well, let's take a couple of seconds and let's delve into what we mean by expungement or sealing. We have heard for years the word expungement. And expungement does not apply to everyone, which is why there are other options in our state. And it's great that we have other options, which is why sealing exists, which is why the executive clemency or the pardon process exists as well. For expungement, anytime a person has a conviction on their record, it doesn't matter if it was a misdemeanor offense or a felony offense. Anytime you have what qualifies as a conviction, you are not eligible for expungement, right? Expungement meaning to destroy the record, to erase the record. But that does not mean that all hope is lost for you. So we're going to make sure that we talk a little bit more about what sealing and the executive clemency, what those things are as well. But what I do want to say is that conviction does not just mean jail or prison time. Conviction also means conditional discharge. Conviction also means probation. Conviction also means fines from time to time. So, you really need to have folks to evaluate your record. There are attorneys. Cabrini Green Legal Aid is the leading organization in the city of Chicago that does this. The Wiley Resource Center assists with this as well. So if you want to get your record evaluated for free by attorneys to see if you have a conviction or if you have something that's like supervision, a 710, 1410 probation for drug offenses, if you had deferred prosecution in Cook County through the state's attorney's office, those things are going to be expungible off of your record. So mainly those arrests and those special supervisions, those are going to be the things that are going to be expungible. So we do have a caller, but before we call that caller up, I just want you to see the telephone number for the Wiley Resource Center. And if you're interested in having us to evaluate your record, or if you're interested in being connected with the Cabrini Green Legal Aid Clinic during the weekdays, call that number and we will assist you. All right, so let's go over to the caller. Caller, you are on with the Wiley Resource Center.
Hi, I heard you talking about a bill.
Yes.
And I don't know if I tuned in late, but I wanted to sort of get some information about, I guess, not just who it impacts, but how it impacts like regular people, and what people can do if they want to help get it passed.
Oh, absolutely. That is an excellent question. We appreciate that question. Let's get right to it. With the sealing bill, and I want you guys to get a chance to take a look at what we're talking about. It's House Bill 5723. It is referred to in the community as the Illinois Sealing Bill. We're trying to get folks to contact their state representatives and their senators in their area in order to let them know that we need the support and the votes of the state representatives and the senators in order for this bill to become law. So it's HB 5723. If you want to get more information, or you want us to email you the fact sheet or anything like that, the telephone number is 773-960-9269. If you want to get in contact with your legislator and you don't know who they are, and you want us to look that information up for you, we would be glad to do so. Let's jump into sealing, and let's talk about the fact that sealing, unlike expungement, is going to be something that is locked away from the general public. So the courts will be able to see it. Law enforcement will still be able to see a sealed record, but general employers, landlords, those types of folks will not be able to see it and hold it against you. So right now in Illinois, the only things that are sealable are nonviolent misdemeanors. So no batteries, no assaults, as well as 3 very low-level felonies. So in Illinois, felonies are classified as X, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And right now, and it's great, I mean, we want to celebrate Representative Connie Howard, who was leading the charge for us to even be able to have sealing in Illinois. But we want to be able to expand it, because right now, those 3 Class 4 felony offenses are only prostitution, possession of cannabis, which is weed, or possession of a controlled substance. But it has to be a class 4 in order for that to be sealed. So we're saying let's expand that. Let's get those old retail thefts that people have out there. Let's get those old drug offenses that some of the guys and ladies have on their records from 10 and 15 years ago. Let's seal those things so that they can get back into the workforce. So we're really appreciative. It looks like we have another caller, and we would love to hear from that caller as well. Caller, you are on the air.
Live.
You know what? You just mentioned convictions from like 10 or 15 years ago. That's why I called in. I had a drug conviction from 15 years ago. I want to go further into the nursing field.
Okay.
I did call in Wright Springfield for a, I think it's some type of
healthcare waiver
or whatever. Yeah, waiver. They sent me a letter back. I kept the letter even though it's years old in case I need to bring it back up again. I did not need a waiver. So I am currently able to be a medical assistant, a nurse's aide, or phlebotomy. But I really want to go further and get my nursing degree, and I'm afraid to go further. I've been like paralyzed with this, like, am I going to be able to go further?
Well, caller, let's get to that. Let me address that with you right now. There is also something called a certification that you're able to get, which is it's a relief from disabilities, I guess is the way that it's called. And it's also a way for you to be able to get certain licenses and things of that nature. Usually it applies if you have only one felony offense that's on your background. But I do think that it's a good idea for you to have folks like the Safer Foundation and Cabrini Green Legal Aid take a look at your situation specifically and see if you're able to qualify for one of those certificates of good conduct or relief from disabilities that we do have in Cook County. Now, let me mention something that the previous caller said, because it's really, really important. She said she had something from 10 or 15 years ago. A lot of people are under the impression that, like the credit report, your criminal background will clear up after 7 years on its own. That does not happen unless you can go through the expungement, the sealing, or the clemency process. That is not something that occurs. So that's why we're telling everyone, make sure that you contact the Wiley Resource Center. If you reach out to us, we will get you in contact with the folks that you need to be speaking with, whether we're able to assist you in our monthly program or whether we need to get you in contact with someone else. So let me give you that phone number one more time. That's 773-738-1480. Or if you look on our website, you can also get our schedule, because we meet on the third Saturday afternoon of each month, and our services, as are the services of Cabrini Green Legal Aid and some of the other organizations, are completely free. I hope that answers our caller's question.
What are the hours when
we do meet? That's an excellent question. When we do meet the third Saturday afternoon of each month, it is 12:30 to 2. We ask people to arrive at 12:30 sharp so that we can assist them.
Should they bring anything with them?
We want to make sure that people bring their rap sheets with them. Right? So if you were arrested in Chicago, you want to go to Chicago Police Headquarters and you want to pay the $16 fee there in order to get your rap sheet or your arrest record so that we can see how to help you. Cabrini Green is down in the Daily Center Monday through Friday, right at 8:30 in the morning. They're going to need that rap sheet as well. So if you call us, and I'll show you that number one more time. If you call us and you listen to our information line, it will tell you what you need to bring, where you can get it from, the dates, the times, the location. All of that information is there. We do have another caller.
Okay.
Hi, caller. You are live.
How you doing? First, I just want to say that I really appreciate what you guys are doing, because it is something that is well needed in our community.
Okay.
It is true that our people are being hurt for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And one of my biggest questions is concerning a murder conviction that I was acquitted for, but yet it's still on my record, and it's been over 10 years.
Okay.
How would I go about having that taken completely off? Is that removable, sealable, expungable?
So what happened for a period of time, there was a law that was put into place that said any type of felony arrests were not going to be things that could be removed from the criminal background, through expungement or sealing, right? But luckily, in the beginning of, I believe it was 2010, that law was changed once again. So even though you may have gone through trial, if you have an acquittal on your record or you have a felony arrest that's on your record, it can still be evaluated and submitted for expungement and sealing. So what we would love to do, again, we would love for you to come and to visit with us at the Wiley Resource Center, or if you're available to visit with Cabrini Green during the week, I'm sure they would love to have you as well. So I'm going to flash it on the overhead again. Call our information line and get the details of the dates, the times, the location, and what you need to bring in order for us to be able to assist you one-on-one.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have a good evening.
You too, and keep doing what you're doing. We need you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Kimbrough, what we also need is we need for folks in our communities to get involved as well. We need to get this House bill passed. It is actually sponsored by State Representative LaShawn Ford, and we have a number of state representatives who are backing us. And at this time, Senator Annazette Collins, she stepped up to the plate in the beginning of this process, and she is leading the charge in the Senate as well. So we will have a number of senators supporting this. But what I do need to tell you is that there are some folks who are voting no when it comes to passing this bill. And we need to make them accountable. Let them know we give you our votes. You kiss our babies. You make us promises. We're expecting you to vote yes on House Bill 5723. So let me show you that number. We want you to call in, and we want you to get more information about how you can personally assist with getting this bill passed.
And we have another caller.
We have another caller.
Caller, you're on.
Yes, hello. You know what? I was just watching you guys on TV, and I'm very interested. I was charged with domestic battery that I didn't even commit or whatever. But I was charged, and they gave me 4 months for this, and now this is on my record. I had a clean record. The only thing I was doing was yelling or whatever. But the officer wrote up the police report wrong, and I didn't have a lawyer, so the PD, they convicted me for a crime that I didn't even do.
Right.
I mean, there was no reports of the girl going to the hospital or nothing. It was just an arguing match. And the white officer, he wrote the police up wrong, on the police report. And now I'm stuck with a felony. I had a perfect background.
Right.
Okay. And is that the only thing that you have on your background?
No, I have a theft.
Okay.
That I was with someone that was stealing, and they charged both of us just because I was with him. I was out in Bolingbrook.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that, caller. We're going to answer your question right now. Let's talk about that. Let's get into that. This is the issue, Mr. Kimbrough. It's kind of messed up, I guess, in a way that the system is designed after so much time has passed on a case. You're not able to go back. Let's say 6 months have passed, and you didn't appeal it when it first happened. You're not really able to go back and retract and take those steps all over again.
So it has to be dealt with right now.
It has to be dealt with then and there. You're going to get a certain amount of time after you're convicted or you plead guilty in order to be able to appeal it. And if you don't do things within that time frame, unfortunately, you're not able to go back and have that taken away. Now, the other issue that you're facing is that this is one of those violent offenses. So I know you may say I was just talking, it was just words. A lot of times those assaults, those batteries, domestic violence cases, those things are not going to be expungible unless you were not convicted, right? And they're not going to be sealable, because in the state of Illinois, our policy is that, those violent offenses, the rapes, murders, DUIs, reckless driving, those are things that are not going to be sealable on your record, unfortunately. However,
if under House Bill, under House Bill 5723, would that be something that'd be covered?
That would not be covered under HB 5723.
Okay.
Those violent offenses are not something that folks are willing to allow to be expunged or destroyed or sealed, locked away.
Okay.
Right? But the theft that you mentioned is definitely something that will fall under House Bill 5723. So let me show you the information again of how you can get in contact with us in order to begin to support House Bill 5723. The Small Business and Workforce Development Committee that is led by State Representative Ford, who is the sponsor of our bill, that committee is going to be hosting a public hearing, and we're going to tell you more about that public hearing in the coming weeks, and we want you to come down and be heard so that you can say on the record that House Bill 5723 needs to become law.
Because this is like the first step then.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I think we got another caller. Caller, you're on.
Hi. I was a little late tuning in. But I like what you guys are doing. I was going to ask, what can I do to help?
Okay.
Well, what you can do, and that sounds like Miss Val, who is actually one of the folks that works at the Wiley Resource Center. She wants to make sure that you all are aware of how you can get involved with House Bill 5723 and get it passed. What I do want to tell you all is that we are on Facebook now, thanks to Mr. Will Birch out there, and we are on Twitter as well, and we do Facebook and we tweet every day about House Bill 5723. We send out how you can contact state representatives about the bill. We send out information, which we'll be talking about on the program over the next few weeks, about employment discrimination when you have a criminal background. We send out information about the House bill, right? So you need to check us out. We are on both Facebook and Twitter at the Illinois Sealing Bill. That's IL-SEAL, SEAL bill. If you check us out, you're going to find out every day what it is that we're doing. Also, if you want us to have your email address, right? If you want to get on our email list and find out how you can get involved, if you text this number here, you're going to reach Miss Val, who just asked us that question. If you call that number, you're going to reach Miss Val, and we will tell you what it is that we have going on and how you can get involved. You are watching CAN TV 21. Please call us. We are on the air live.
And I think we got another caller. Caller, you're on?
Yes, I would like to ask a question. If I committed a crime when I was around about 14, I stole out of a store, do that record follow me even after I pay restitution by paying off the store debt? Do that record still follow me? Could I have that seal? I was only 14. I took some soap and things of that nature and toothpaste.
Right. Okay. Let's do this. Let's talk about it. You asked an excellent question, caller. Now, there are two different tracks, right? There is the juvenile track and there is the adult track, right? And so what she's referring to is something that happened as a juvenile. And so 9 times out of 10, she was in juvenile court. A juvenile record is automatically sealed, right? It's locked away. It's not destroyed automatically, but it is locked away automatically so that the general public will not be able to see a juvenile record. However, if you would like to have your record expunged, and we do recommend that juveniles get their records expunged, what you would need to do, you need to be at least 17 years old in order to begin the process for juvenile expungement. And the only things that you're not going to be able to get expunged as a juvenile would be like a murder or a rape, right?
Okay.
So, did you have a question, Ms. Kimbrough?
Yeah, because you said you recommended for juveniles. Why would you recommend it?
Because remember, if you can get your record expunged, you want your record expunged, right? You want it destroyed, right? So that no one will be able to see it at all. Sealing is the next best option, okay? So remember, with juveniles, it's automatically sealed, but, you can go through the juvenile expungement process. Tonight, this has flown by.
Too fast.
It's too fast. We're going to have Mr. Kimbrough back with us next week because This has been awesome. You have been watching us on CanTV 21. We want to make sure that you know how to get in contact with the Wiley Resource Center if you need assistance. Please give us a call or check out our website. We would love to have you come in and visit with us, and we would love to be able to help you in any way that we possibly can. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week. Same bat time, 7 o'clock p.m. Same bat station, CanTV 21. Right? So join us next week.
All right.